All right, welcome to my new project, Narcissistic Therapy. Who am I and what is Narcissistic Therapy? Very good question. I'm glad you asked. I am Gabriel Castillo, comedian at Castillo Comedy, Instagram and Twitter. Narcissistic Therapy is my new episodic vlog, and the title says it all. It is a narcissistic form of therapy where it is a one-sided conversation where I am talking and I get to get things off of my chest, talk about some issues I'm having, maybe talk about some things on my heart, really anything I want because it is my platform. Now, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about why I took myself off of a show that was supposed to be booked. Move this a little bit, thank you. October the 15th. Now, I took myself off of the show. Some of you saw my post, and I want to talk about why I took myself off the show, the reasonings behind it, some of the aftermath, and how it affected me. I took myself off of the show because it turned out to be a bringer show. Now, a bringer show is where the comics booked on the show are pressured or required to have a certain amount of ticket sales or paid attendance in order to perform or get booked again. Now, there are many things wrong with this, and I will go through them. One, you're asking comics you're cultivating a show that is predicated on the idea of booking comics that will beg their people to buy tickets as opposed to putting on a good comedy show with a good flow. Secondly, you end up cultivating a stroke room. Now, a stroke room is a room filled with mostly your friends, people you know, your family, and they're going to look at you with optimistic rose-colored glasses. They're going to give you sympathy laughs, little chuckles, because they're just proud that you're on stage, right? They're just proud of you that you've made this attempt to get on stage. They're so proud of you, so they want you to feel encouraged. And that gives you a false sense of your comedy. That gives you a false sense of where you're at with your material. Louis C.K. said, the art form is making strangers laugh. So when you cultivate a stroke room because you've begged, these 6 comics have begged their people to show up and they're going to give you sympathy laughs and chuckles, you're disrespecting and bastardizing the art form, right? Okay. So the room itself ends up being bullshit. The comics are, the show itself doesn't have a real flow to it because you're booking comics based on how they can sell the show as opposed to the comedy that they're performing. All right. Now, if this was a legit show, legit headliner who could crush for 30 minutes, legit features who could kill for 10 to 15 minutes, then perhaps I would have been more inclined to participate. You know, I would have felt like maybe, well, I can get a couple, and I have no problem selling tickets. This is a part of our job. But to pressure me and to require me to do it makes me feel some type of way. Now, perhaps I would have been okay with it had this been a legit show, but this is a developmental show, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with developmental shows. Every scene needs developmental shows. I ran a developmental show in Vegas, the Godless Comedy Show. Now, developmental shows where you take comics who are 9 months, a year into open mics consistently, daily open mics. And they've got to get on a legit show, right? They've got to get a feel of a real audience. They've got to work out this material. Okay. So you put them on the show, you get a local feature who wants to stretch their legs. They've got 15 minutes. They want to turn it into 20, 25 minutes. And they've been working on that extra 5 to 10. And you're going to help them do that. This is important. This is essential part of the comedy of a comedy scene, right? But you don't fucking charge for the show. People were paying $20 for this show that I was booked on to watch open micers work out material, to watch perpetual open micers, lifer open micers kind of just talk themselves into a hole. $20 To give you a frame of reference for this, Rocky Dale Davis, a friend, a colleague of mine, I wouldn't call him a friend, but we talk in Vegas. Real credits. The national television credits is charging $20 this Saturday. But people might pay the same thing on Thursday to watch 6 or 7 open micers. Maybe 1 or 2 features. There's something wrong with that. So, you're cultivating this developmental show. This is like a used car salesman tactic, because you're giving the impression that this is like some really big time comedy show, and this is a developmental show. And like, again, there's nothing wrong with those shows, but you give the show away, so that you can get a good audience in there, and the venue gets to make money off of drinks and food. But you don't charge people for that, because the expectation can't be that high. And you damn sure don't require them to bring people to the show and pay for it, man. Like, that is just not cool on so many levels. Now, and this is what happens when you let a first-year open micer, this is the dude producing this show, first-year open micer, been open micing maybe a year, maybe a little over a year, I don't fucking know, but about that. And you let this dude produce a show. Like, what the fuck, man? Nobody talks to him. Nobody gives him no one parks him and says, well, this is why you shouldn't do this. This is why you shouldn't put this price tag on this show. This is, if you're going to put a price tag on this show, this is kind of the criteria you need to go by. Nobody does this, and there's nothing wrong with being a first year, but you're a first year open micer in a small town scene. Maybe you've done 3 mics a week. And that's why I say small town scene. I used to get 3 mics in a day, sometimes 4 when we used to have midnight mics. And you probably gotten 3 in a week over the course of a year if you've really tried. Maybe not even that. So maybe like 150, 160 mics? We used to hit 13, 15 mics a week. So you're a first year open micer in a small town scene, and you're going to charge people $20 to see a developmental show, and nobody says anything about this. Everybody's okay with this. And that really speaks to how the time this scene is, because these people are not even these people, because I'm not trying to, it's coming up like I'm not bitter, I don't give a shit, right? I'm talking out my feelings, because this is the premise of the show, Narcissistic Therapy, right? And I'm not trying to be bitter, I'm explaining my position, and I can get aggressive because this is my fucking life, this is my art form. And I potentially lost what I thought was a friend over this, okay? So if I get a little passionate, it has nothing to do with bitterness. It's just me speaking on my position and the hard work that I've put in. But you have this first-year open micer producing a developmental show, mandating that the comics booked bring a certain amount of paid attendees, and everybody's okay with this because they're just so fucking desperate to get pictures of themselves on stage to make them look like comics, Because killing in a stroke room is not killing. Because your friends and your family will look at you with rose-colored glasses, and they're going to give you sympathy laughs, like I said. Why don't you try doing a casino show where people pay $25 a ticket, they're paying $8 for drinks, there's 2 of them, so they're about $70 to $80 investment into that night, from Chicago, from Indiana, from Florida, from Chicago, and they don't know dick about you, and they're just like, make me laugh, motherfucker, I've spent $75, $80 on this night, make me fucking laugh. That is art. Louis C.K. said the art form is in making strangers laugh. And you cultivate this stroke room. on a developmental show, and you're going to have the fucking audacity to charge $20 for it. It's patently fucking ridiculous that nobody parked your ass and told you that this was not a fucking model to run a show by. Patently fucking ridiculous. And I don't, and you know, and this isn't my hill to die on. It was kind of pushed, it was kind of made my hill to die on, but I know that I'm right. I know that I'm right. Because I put in, I've only been in this 3.5 years, but I put in a lot of hard fucking work in this. I've slept in my car. I've had open mic life to the fullest. You can go to Vegas and you can ask Justin Joe Brown, Marcus Deeds. You can even ask people that didn't fucking like me, Vincent Blackshear, CC Sample, and they will tell you I was every fucking where in 2017 and 2018. So I've put in my time, and I know I know this level of the business. And nobody parked your ass and told you this was not the model to run by. Because they were just so fucking desperate to get on stage, to get a picture of themselves holding a microphone in what is supposed to be a real show. Patently fucking ridiculous. Now, I'm okay with all of that. I am okay with all of it. Because cream rises to the top. And I'm butter, baby. Irish butter at that. So, I'm going to be in this for the next 3 or 4 years. And I don't think I'm going to be in this forever. But, I mean, for me, in 3 or 4 years is what the time it's going to take for me to even present what I feel my material and this art form and my set would be a good representation of my potential, which would be about 7 years in. Okay? So I wholeheartedly believe that this failed musician masquerading as a producer, open micer, isn't going to fucking be around. And if he is, I don't fucking care. Because like I said, cream rises to the top. And I give my life to this art form. Nothing comes before comedy. So that's where I'm at. That's where Gabriel Castillo is at. I'll live in my car. I'll drive 3 hours for a 10-minute spot in a fucking handshake. And I've done it before and I'll do it again because I fucking love this. What the fuck have you done? The only thing that hurt me about this whole situation was that one of my friends, I still refer to him as a friend, right? One of what I thought was a friend saw my post about me not being on the show, and I wasn't disrespectful. I simply articulated a snippet of why I wasn't going to be on the show. I said, due to conflicts in philosophy, Gabriel Castillo will not be performing on this show. Side note, I do not support bringer shows, nor do I want to participate in them. That is very respectful and honest. And I tried to be respectful and honest because I've flown off the handle before, and I can get very passionate and I can get aggressive. And that has cost me some things, and I'm getting better at that. You know, and I've paid prices for those things. Okay? So I didn't want to come off as like I was shitting on the scene, or like I was trying to be aggressive, or I was trying to be mean. Even though I felt angry inside, I just wanted to let people know why I wasn't going to be there, because I promoted myself on there. And one of the, I guess she would be considered like the mother of the scene, Irma Ruiz, and I only say her name because we were friends, or I thought we were friends. She made a comment about how this was not cool at all, and I didn't understand why she was interjecting herself, and it wasn't her show, and I didn't understand why it wasn't cool, and it was very respectful, and then one of the Vegas comics who made a very legit point, but kind of did it aggressively. But I didn't have any problem with it because he was fucking right, and he validated everything I had said about why this concept was fucked. And I imagine she took that as a personal shot, because sometimes people, especially people that build the scene, feel like they identify with the scene, and that's not good. Even me, as much as I love the Vegas scene, I don't identify with it, like in the sense that it's mine. I'm just a part of it, and I will always be a part of it because it raised me, and I respect that so much. But by no means am I the scene, or is anybody the scene. And I feel like she took that personally, as a personal shot against her, of him criticize this very legit comic in Vegas who, you know, cuts albums and makes money doing comedy, validating what I had said, and she blocked me. And that hurt, because I thought we were better than that. Because in this industry, it's kind of broken up in like three ways, right? You're going to have, this is where I might get a little emotional, but it's okay. You're going to have friends, genuine friends, who will cut for you, who will be there for you. You're going to have acquaintances, people who you can have some commonality with and you chop it up with and you guys are cool. And you're going to have colleagues, kind of coworkers, people who you will work with and you're respectful to. And I thought we were more friends than colleagues. Because I remember Irma when she was open micing with me in San Antonio in 2017 in February. And then I ran into her in Vegas when she went to Vegas just later that year, when I had only been in the scene a couple months. I mean, maybe even 2 months or 3 months. And we'd always been respectful. We clicked. And when she would come to Vegas, I would try to help her. When I would go to San Antonio, she would try to help me. And I thought that the foundation of our association was more friendship than colleagues. But apparently I was wrong. And that reality kind of hurt. So that hurt. Because I can be sensitive. You know, I'm a strong dude. I'm an aggressive dude sometimes, but I am very sensitive because I love, I don't know how to not give everything 100% in my heart, right? So that's Gabriel Castillo. Now, this is why this is narcissistic therapy, because I needed to talk this out, right? When she blocked me, that kind of hurt me a little bit. And it's not like I'm crying over this, and I'm not even thinking about this on a daily basis. I just needed to talk this out. I care, but I don't dwell. I got a lot of things going on, and I got a lot of plans, and I got bigger problems. Not really. Well, I mean, I have bigger things that I have to do, but still, it hurt. Because I didn't understand. I still don't. I either came from one of two places, right? Either she took it personally as a personal shot against the scene she helped build, and that made her feel like it hurt her, as opposed to, and even though it wasn't her show and had nothing to do with her. Or there's also the business aspect of this, right? Like maybe she felt like that if she worked with me, that the other producers and bookers would see that she worked with me, and that would make them not want to work with her. And I can accept the first one more than the second one. If it was passion, if it was just kind of like you struck a chord and I emotionally kind of on a whim did this because I felt like it was like it was a personal shot, I could see that. And I've worked and I've had shouting matches with comics, and we've cussed at each other, and we've avoided each other, and we've sworn each other off, and we've still been able to come together and work together later because we're comics, and this is a brotherhood, and that's the common ground that we stand on, is that we all make so many sacrifices for this art form, because it's not easy. It's not easy. Or maybe it's a little bit of both, right? Maybe, it's not always black and white. Maybe, but it's definitely one more than the other. So, or maybe it was that, from a business perspective, associating with me would not be good. and that would hurt more because, I understand the business aspect of this industry, and I haven't been in the business aspect as much as I'm going to be, but I do understand it, but I feel like you lose your authenticity, and I've seen people lose their authenticity in the pursuit of this thing. And I'm not saying that's what's going on, but I'm just, I'm saying it could be. Because, you have so much investment, you give so many years of your life, and then you're just like, man, if I don't get to this certain level, then, was it a waste, and what am I doing? And so you'll cut people off because you want to get somewhere, and you'll kind of betray your own code because you want to get somewhere, and you got to associate with the right people, and you got to be liked by the right people, so they'll put you on shows, and and I understand that, and I respect that to a certain extent, but at the same time, I would never, and I'm all about getting along to go along, and I'm all about like trying to like people as much as you can so that you can work with them. We don't all have to be best friends, but we can work together and we can be respectful. At the same time, I feel like we undermine and we don't appreciate how much and how marketable and how receptive authenticity is, right? And the audience and people and everything around us vibrates to our authenticity. And when we make sacrifices of that authenticity to kind of manipulate the game or to play the game that the politicking a part of this industry, you lose a little bit of your authenticity, and you go on the road and you keep losing a little bit more of your authenticity, and then you get on stage one day and you're not even a true representation of who you are and your sense of humor, because you've compromised your authenticity so many times. And for some reason I'm very aware of that, and I've been aware with it in other aspects of my life where I refuse to compromise my integrity, my authenticity, and my genuineness, because it's kind of all I have. Maybe not now, but at some points in my life, it's all I've ever had. It's all I've been left with. So I was going to be damned if I was going to sell that out. And I believe in it. I believe in authenticity, and I believe that it's something that people react to and people vibe to, and I think that it might be a longer road to perceive success, but it'll be a better road because it'll be real, it'll be real, and you might suffer longer, it might be 10, 15, 20 years of suffering on that authentic road, but you'll be coasting when you get there, and it'll be better, it'll be better, and I believe that, I believe that, I have to believe that, and we can lose appreciation for that, and I said, I don't know if that's what happened, but it kind of feels like that's what happened, so that kind of hurt, and I don't want to get off on I'm kind of losing my wording a little bit, because I kind of feel like I wrapped up my point, that I took myself off this show because I didn't agree with the model, I didn't agree with the ticket price, and because of the structure of the show, and the backlash was that it showed me that I thought I had a friend when maybe I didn't have a friend, and I ended up having a coworker, who had maybe thought that I was collateral damage. But I'm going to stay on this road, and I'm going to be an authentic representation of Gabriel Castillo every fucking day. And I will get there. I will get there. And it might be a longer road. It might be a more painful road. But I will make every sacrifice for this art form. And I have made many sacrifices for it. Because to me, like, there's no feeling like being on stage. And when you are connecting with the crowd, and when you are an authentic representation of your sense of humor and your perspective of the world, and people get to see that they get to peek in through your eyes to the world, and they get to go on that ride with you, and for a second they connect with you and they relate to you, and that is the juice for me. You know, some people are in this industry and in this art form because they want attention, because they want money, because they want success. And I'm not going to lie to you and say that I don't want those things, but I am not, and I can tell you this from the bottom of my heart, I am not obsessed or focused on that. That is not the trophy. That is not the trophy. The trophy for me is putting on a great set that represents me, that is an authentic, genuine look at the way I see the world and how it makes me laugh and my sense of humor. And because of that, the money, the success, the attention will come. But I don't put the cart before the horse. It's not about a championship. It's about putting on a championship performance for me. And I needed to talk that out. I needed to get that off my chest. And I don't want to be a problem to anybody in this scene, but I will speak my mind because I'm unafraid and unaffected and courageous and a little arrogant and a little bullheaded. But I continue to work on myself, I do. And I always very analytical, and I try to look at and I own my part in things. And could I have handled it differently? Probably. Would I have handled it differently? No. Because I felt I was respectful, and I feeling that, look, man, like, you can't be afraid of criticism. You know, you can't be afraid of criticism. And all I did was give a critique of what I felt, you know, and that makes you stronger. And again, it kind of speaks to the, just the methodology of the scene here, that you're more concerned with, like, ego stroking each other and making each other feel good and giving each other participation trophies on, like, when you get off stage, like, oh, you did good, like, no one wants to criticize anybody. But nobody grows like that. Like, nobody grows like that. You grow by being honest about your set, honest about your reactions. You know, Randall Crabmeat Thompson used to roast my ass at Slam Dunk Jesus. Shout out to Randall Crabmeat Thompson on Instagram, Slam Dunk Jesus. That dude used to roast my ass when I would get off stage, when I would do bad, to the point where I almost wanted to fucking cry. And sometimes I did. And in the moment, it fucking sucked, man. I remember one time he got on stage and he said, after I got off, and he said, now we're going to start the comedy portion of the show. That ripped my fucking heart out. But you know what? He was right. He was absolutely right. I had a shitty set. There was no punchlines. I was just rambling, making statements as if they were jokes. And that's what hurt me, is that I knew it was true. But you know what? It made me better. And I didn't run away. And I did not come back. And I didn't let it tear me down. And as angry as it got me, I knew it was right. And I came back and I worked on it and I got fucking better. So nobody grows. So nobody gets to grow when we just ego stroke each other. And no one wants to criticize everybody. And we just cultivate these fucking stroke rooms. Nobody gets to grow. Perpetual open micers masquerading around as feature acts. And then when you get to a real room where nobody's your friend and nobody knows you, and you get a real gauge of your material, you're going to fucking wonder why nobody laughs. And I'm not in this for that. So, well, looks like time's up, guys. That was